and righteous and right. And I think there's a lot of people that are right in the middle that say, hey, I appreciate Brian Hoyer, what he's doing and everything else, but I've got eyes in my head and I can see that, he's not, Andrew Luck, and, not close to that in terms of just physical abilities and long-term potential and whatever, in elite status, whatever that is. And so, looking ahead again, half a season before the team's going to be faced with a real tough decision, about how to operate going forward. But I'm willing to sit back and enjoy the ride, just like I'm not whining about beating bad teams. It's better than losing to bad teams, and we've done a little bit of both this year. So, in any event, I just kind of wanted to throw that dilemma out there. I mean, everybody knows it's coming. And like you say, you've been predicting this for a long time, that maybe the Browns will figure out some way to screw up this good situation that we've got by maybe letting the best thing to happen to the team ride off into the sunset when the season ends.
Dan, I know you got to be with me on my analogy. It's literally like you and I are sitting on my front porch, and I got the mechanic under my car right next to us fixing it. It hasn't started in 15 years, and I look at you and I go, yeah, man, can't wait to paint this thing, man. Look at how ugly it is, man. How can I drive up and down the block in this thing? Man, I got to put some rims on it, too. And you're like, hey, when's the last time it started? Now, 15 years ago, man, but they're working on that, man. I don't even care about the engine. Look at that paint job, man. And you're like, you're the most clueless person I've ever talked to. I say, yes, I am, but I'm going to have a nice paint job on my car. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Like I said, let's take it as far as it takes us, and Brian Hoyer's going to look a lot better when he's got a couple more weapons back.
Bro,
but boy, in the meantime, I saw 4 plays in a row yesterday where Nick McDonald was picking himself up off his ass after the play was over, and it was just brutal. I mean, McCoy was just abusing him, and I don't know. At least Terrence West showed me that he knows how to run to daylight, that he knows how to run where the people aren't. And when he sees a hole, even if it's not the place that the play was designed to go, that he has enough alertness and vision to see it and take it. And that's why I like West going forward as my number one guy.
Yeah, he may have learned whatever, little wake up that he needed to get there, and that's why I'm saying, and I mentioned it before you came on about Crow, and I said, well, if the lesson to be learned like it was for West is, hey, you got to block, you got to do all these other things, well, the lesson for Crow is, hey, you put the ball on the ground and you won't play, then hey, I can dig it, because I have seen little examples of that throughout the season already, and I kind of dig the way Mike Pettin has been coaching. And let me ask you real quick, last thing about while we're talking coaching, a lot of people like, oh man, terrible clock management by the Browns at the end of the first half. I don't know if you heard the way I summed it up, but I thought, no, I don't believe
I
everybody.
Did.
What do you think?
That,
I think they chose
right.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it showed that they didn't have faith in their own offense to pick up a 3rd and 14.
Yep.
And they didn't want to give the ball back, and so they were just going to let the clock run down. Then when they did pick up the 3rd and 14, they've got to be kicking themselves, saying, why did we just, piss away 40 seconds that we could have had to possibly score a touchdown instead of settle for a field goal try? Everybody in the stands, and I mean everybody, was scratching their heads, looking around at each other, shrugging their shoulders, going, what the heck are they thinking? What are they trying to do? So yeah, I think you're right. It was not necessarily bad clock management. It was a bad judgment on how to manage the clock. Yep. I guess you could say that's splitting hairs, but they knew what they wanted to do. They were just wrong.
Yeah, they made that decision.
It's not,
yeah. Yep. They made that choice. That's what I thought. I'm like, there's no way they just let 40 seconds. They're not. Come on. They've all played football before. I've seen Pettin manage a clock better than that. He's not standing around going, hey, anybody got a clock? What do we got? No. You could see Hoyer.
The bottom line was you were in Tampa Bay territory with the ball and a first down and 1:07 or something on the clock. You've got to be thinking 7 points, not 3 at that point. With all 3 of your timeouts left.
I agree. When they took that sack,
they had all 3 of them over a minute, and you're in Tampa territory. You've got to be thinking 6, not 3, at that point. And at least that's what we crazy fans in the stands were thinking.
Oh no, I'm with you there. I mean, even on that last one there, man, you still had the clock ticking down. I thought, man, maybe you spike and you try one more play here before the field goal, but they were just like, you know what, we're not going to take any chances of turning the momentum, because that's what I thought is like I said, I thought, the last thing you want is a deep pass, throw it 40, 50 yards, get a pass interference, and you get a cheap field goal as time expires heading into the half the other way. But once they got that completion for 16, we should have trusted our offense a little bit more here, because we ended up getting the 16 yards. But you don't exactly.
Yeah, you're right. You called it right. It was a lack of faith in their own offensive ability to pick up the first down.
You don't draw that up for 16 yards, Dan. You don't exactly trust that you're going to get a 3rd and 16, so.
Oh, right, You're absolutely right. It doesn't happen all the time. But, again, that was not the only time in the game they did that. We already talked about the one coming off their own goal line where they picked up a huge first down on a 3rd and 16. But anyway, it's been a fun year so far, and I'm looking at probably realistically a 3-5 second half and an 8-8 season.
I'll take that.
And, I'll take it. I'll
take that all day, Dan. Hey, I want to ask you in person, did you notice, or did you have to wait till you watched it on TV, that friggin' blocked field goal by Billy Wynn, man?
That was awesome. I watched the thing about 5 times. He literally just
hurdled.
Hurdled 2 guys, just kind of pushed down on him and kicked his knees up to his chest and got both feet through at the same time. And went and blocked it. I thought it was an awesome play.
Like, he didn't do the hurdle block like Palomalu tries to do. He hurdled, landed on his feet, and then went up and blocked it. I was like, get out of here, man. The center didn't even have time to Wynn was over top of him already. I said, man, that was some Palomalu stuff right there, man. There's athletic border plus,
He's a big
brother.
Guy, and that shows some real athleticism there.
He's a big dude, man. He's like 300. I like Billy Wynn. My son got to spend some time with him and hang out with him a bit, man. Billy Wynn's a cool guy, but he's even cooler after that one to me. Hey, let's switch off of by the way, what do you think? You know what? Since we were talking about the Browns, well, I'll talk to you about it on Wednesday. Got the big one with Cincy coming up, but let's talk Buckeyes, the other half of the football equation here of a victory Monday. Not much to talk about as far as the actual game. We kind of saw that smashing coming, but now you didn't look ahead. You didn't trip over anything. You took care of business. Now Michigan State, the big one that everybody's been looking to, is coming here, and a lot of excitement around that, but nothing too surprising about, except that J.T. Barrett played as much as he did.
Yeah, that was maybe a little bit surprising, although he looked good. It looked like he might be favoring it a little bit more throwing than running. He airmailed quite a few throws, 3 or 4 balls in the first half where he had a wide-open guy and overthrew. A couple of them could have been touchdowns. But got it together a little bit later on in the second quarter and ran the ball well. Looks like he wasn't, favoring the one knee at all when he ran the ball. So, and he only played half a game and
right.
Obviously at 31-0, good time to get him out of there. And the other nice benefit of that is, we got to see Cardale Jones, and we've seen him before, but it's always been in these blowout wins where Meyer has him very limited and doesn't let him throw the ball. We didn't really know how well Cardale Jones could throw the ball, and he comes up with 2 touchdown passes, a real nice 27-yarder, I think it was, and a couple different touchdown throws where he showed some nice zip on the ball and some nice accuracy. So it's good to know that in the event that J.T. Barrett might get hurt at some point, that you've got a guy that can come in and make the offense go. Certainly, his bona fides as a runner have been proven. He's a beast to bring down as a runner. But good, get him, see him air it out a little bit and connect on a couple of touchdowns. That was good to see. And we got a little bit more chance to see Jalen Marshall too. And he took some snaps as we predicted, and took one of them to the house, and Curtis Samuel, the freshman running back, number 4, looked real good as well. So we got a chance to see some of these young speedsters doing their thing, and the skill position talent on the team is so young and so good. It just really bodes well for the future, and They might, by the way, be picking up Torrance Gibson today. He's supposed to make his announcement. In fact, I think he's already made it. But
he did.
I haven't.
He is committed.
He did, and is he going to be a Buckeye?
State. Yeah, I was going to bring that up with you here. Torrance Gibson did commit to Ohio State this afternoon. 13th ranked prospect in a lot of people's boards. ESPN definitely has him at 13 in their top 300. He made the decision today. Buckeyes over Miami and LSU. And so there you go. Torrance Gibson coming to the Buckeyes.
I don't know if you've seen the kid yet on film, but he's special.
He's big.
He is blazing fast. He's a left-handed quarterback.
6'5".
He's got a rocket arm, obviously very raw from the throwing standpoint, but as an athlete and as a speedster, running back, wide receiver, he may end up being a wide receiver, although he does seem to be the perfect fit for the Urban Meyer offense at quarterback, assuming that he can refine the passing game a little bit, but there's no lack of arm strength or zip on the ball, as you'll see if you watch the senior highlight film. I just watched it last night, and my jaw was down on my chest. I mean, in an open field, he's absolutely blazing fast, and has a nice arm too. So he'll either be a QB or a wide receiver for the Buckeyes. Either way, it's another super fast athlete on the field in scarlet and gray. So it's a great pickup for Ohio State.
Yeah, what he said was today when it came down to making that decision, it's that Ohio State is going to give him an actual shot to be a quarterback. He said his quote was, if I mess up one time, they're not going to switch me off. I'm not going to make me a receiver or a safety. They're going to give me a legitimate shot at being a quarterback. So that was what he needed to hear to come make the commitment to Ohio State. And, yeah, that was just maybe an hour ago here while we were on the air. Word came down officially. Torrance Gibson. Hey, I wanted, while we were talking Buckeyes and Illinois before we got away from it there, something that I noticed just in the post game and listening to guys talk and JT Barrett, and I like that, the growth. Sometimes it's easy. You know, he's had some big numbers and some big stats and that in his rookie or, freshman outing here, but to say after the first half, where he looked pretty decent there and then your team just rolled and say, hey, man, I was not just was I not great, I wasn't good. I didn't like my game at all. I got to hit guys. I got to hit the open guys. I'm missing guys. I like when guys, especially quarterbacks, have that self-critique and actually mean it. They don't just give lip service to it, So, of course, you don't know for sure what his intentions were, but I like that when guys are able to say, hey, man, I'm glad you think I had a good day, but I don't, and I've got a lot of things to still work on.
Yeah, that is great to see, some humility and, being able to look at big picture and critique yourself. He did miss 3 or 4 throws, high and kind of missed them badly. But, for a kid to be able to look back and never be satisfied with it. And, I left the field with a 31-0 lead, and they did turn the ball over on downs twice. One of the things that Meyer did in this game is they've been, Meyer's been critical of their own tendencies and predictability, I guess you'd say. And they as the season goes on through, they do a lot more self-scouting and look at where their own tendencies are. And this was a game where they tried to do the opposite, to do the George Costanza thing, just do the opposite thing that got you here. They ran when they had previously passed out of a certain formation. They went left where they otherwise would go right, and they mixed things up a lot and did some things against their own tendencies. Tried before and going for it down on the goal line just to try to work a couple of plays and see how they work. They tried a little shovel pass. It didn't end up working, but they went for it on a short yardage situation down by the goal line. So that was a big part of it, and that was something that Meyer even expected, said something about it going into the game, and after the game reiterated that they were trying to maybe just give Michigan State a few more things to look at, a few more things to think about, and be a little bit less predictable by experimenting a little bit in a game where they had a nice cushion.
Listening to the Sports Fix, talking to Dan Wismar here. We're talking Buckeyes and Browns and football so much on a Victory Monday for both teams. And, looking at the Buckeyes there and talking about what you just said, I agree. And now, circle it around. Get the taste of that one out of the way, because now is the game that the focus has been on for so many weeks here. And, of course, we've said Buckeyes try not to look ahead and and it's easy to say it, harder to do it. But now that part's over with, and now you've got the one marquee matchup in the Big Ten, which you can say is sad enough as it is. But you got the Buckeyes, you got Michigan State, which and you know what, we'll know by the time